Good morning, everyone, and welcome to AFA ASC. I'm so thrilled to be with y'all here again this year. My name is Lindsay Akers, and I am AFA's Senior Consultant for our United Forces and Families program. And it is such an honor to always be in community with powerhouses and forces in our community, but particularly this morning with Jessica Norsky, who has her own fan club always, and Chris McCool. You need no introductions, but I would love for you both to tell us both about yourselves in the community before we get started. Jessica?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Lindsay. So my name is Jessica Norsky, and right now I have the privilege of serving as the key support mentor for the Space Force element of Special Operations Command.
And I'm Chris McCool, served 28 years on active duty in the United States Air Force, retired as a chief. Currently married to Chief Master Sergeant Katie McCool, Pacific Air Force Command Chief. And, unique perspective for me is I'm also the dad of 3 airmen. So 3 of our 4 boys are in the Air Force.
I always love that military spouses are uniquely positioned at very unique intersections in our community. And Chris, you especially, you are a service member of 28 years. You're married to a currently serving chief. And then you have 3 sons who are all airmen in our U.S. Air Force today. And, we've talked about this a little bit, but I would love for you to tell me about how our culture is adapting and shifting with these new generations, and what advice are you giving your sons as they navigate their time in service?
Well, I'll tell you, Lindsay, that's definitely a great question about how the culture is shifting. I'll speak, from a leadership perspective. I believe we have to have the energy and the willingness to listen to what the younger generation brings to the fight, what they bring to our team. But at the same time, also encourage my sons that you have to stay engaged. You have to be willing to trust your leadership. They don't make decisions in a vacuum, and they do have your interest at the forefront. And so when it comes to, culture, I think we all own a piece of that. So that's what I share with them is don't sit around waiting for something to happen. Embrace our Air Force culture, but bring your unique capabilities to our team.
That is a great intersection to everything that I know that Jessica Norsky is doing. You guys both, again, uniquely sit in these positions of having a 365-degree purview of the generation that's come before us, our role in our culture today, and then the family that comes tomorrow. And Jessica, I love the stories that come out of our Space Force basic training and our family pinning ceremonies, which we've been deeply involved in. So can you tell everybody a little bit about that program and what it means from a culture building perspective and how it continues to connect everyone to our mission?
Absolutely. Thanks, Lindsay. As I had an opportunity to share last year, the little things don't mean anything. They mean everything. And that is truly what this pin has come to symbolize. So now, thanks to AFA, our community partner, combining service members, prospective spouses, we have created what we call the family pinning ceremony. So down at basic military training, after our airmen and guardians receive their coin, our Space Force guardians are brought into an auditorium where they're shown the patching video, and they're surrounded by their loved ones. That looks like moms, dads, grandparents, siblings, coaches, spouses, children, all there to support. Because we know service members, they come from families, they come from loved ones. And so we have an opportunity to recognize the sacrifices of those loved ones from moment one, which is really, really important. And another part that I really love about that is it also helps facilitate that connection, which is one of our core values of the Space Force, that we're able to help that service member connect with their loved one. So it's an incredible opportunity. We're super grateful. We see it in action, what the Thrive team calls the QX model, where we're combining military members, spouses, and also our community partners to really make a difference and inspire change. And I'm really happy to share that for the first time recently, the OTC class was able to present their loved ones with a family pen. So we're really excited to see what has become a Space Force tradition continue to grow.
Which is evidenced by the fact that there's always work to be done, always improvements to be made, ways to expand our impact from a quality of life perspective. So I'm curious, as you both sit in your unique positions in the community, what are you seeing from the quality of life perspective that we can lean into a little bit more? For me, it's childcare and military spouse employment, but, we talk a lot about healthcare and housing and just the general quality of life in our community. So Chris, do you have any insight on what we can do to best support our military families of today from a quality of life perspective?
Yeah, Lindsay. So, I think, with 28 years of service and had retired, about 5 years ago and still being actively involved in the Air Force, the quality of life topics don't seem to change much. As we talk about education and reciprocity of employment for spouses, finding work in the new location, housing, all of those things are the general topics, and we are really trying to get it done where we make that part of the quality of life discussion easier for the families. But I'll tell you, one thing that I share with my kids is that we own a piece of that quality of life as well. Is that as things are changing, being more informed about resource constraints, understanding that the institution and your command staff is really focused on trying to make these things better. The more informed you are about what is actually being done, I think the better equipped you are to handle the challenges of some of our quality of life initiatives.
I agree. Owning a piece of that and being able to solve or improve where we can, where we are, is such an incredible opportunity that we have. So Jess, are there any insights that you have from the quality of life perspective where we can plug into more, or what are you seeing from your side of the community?
Yeah, I join Chris, and I think all of us here, right, that we all acknowledge that we have a role to play, right? Whether it's, filling out that survey for the Blue Star Family Lifestyle Survey, right? Everyone can do that. And that's a lot of where we get our data of where are those pain points that we see right now. And I join you, right? So we see them time and time again, right? The Thrive team has identified childcare, education, spouse employment, housing, healthcare, right? These are, unfortunately, sometimes a tale as old as time. But the good news is, right, that we're all in this together. We all have an opportunity to come together, again, with our service members, our spouses, our community partners, and really, really get after it. But the most important thing is that we do it together, right? That we don't work in our silos, that we come together, and that's really what I think we hold on to. And then to me, that's the most encouraging part about this.
For sure. And I think it's really special that we have organizations like AFA and Blue Star Families and these organizations who have been in the conversation for a long time. So it's almost, we expect the email and we assume that our community is going to follow through with it. And then maybe we let that go to our deleted folder. Mm-hmm. But taking the moment to provide that updated perspective on where we are, where our family is, that is part of our responsibility as well. So as we wrap up, I'm very curious if you guys could think of a word that describes the military spouse community. What comes to mind for you? Or the military family community?
Change makers. Absolutely, without a doubt. When you look at some of the change that has been implemented throughout time, really, as long as there's been loved ones falling behind and supporting our military, you see that they see the need and they implement change. It is absolutely incredible and inspiring, and we got to keep it going, and I know we will.
Beautifully said. I don't know how you follow that, Chris, but I'm open to it.
That's a tough one. I just sat here and I just thought of caring. Just caring in general. The fact that we're here having this discussion, and that there are programs developed across the Department of the Air Force specifically for this, for quality of life initiatives, for taking care of families, is that we actually care. And the military community, the families that are out there doing it, that are invested in what we do, it shows that they care as well. And so, we just have to continue listening, whether it's through surveys or just lending an ear. Mm-hmm. I know we get to travel around the PACAF AOR and listen to spouses communicate their concerns, and we're listening. We just have to overcome some of the challenges on how to get after all of these things that we have to do.
Caring, doing our part, being change makers. That's what I took away from this conversation. I'm so thankful for you both as people and everything you do in our community. Thank you again. Enjoy the conference, everybody.
Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay.